Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I have uploaded the first episode in this channel, which was about a tutorial on the basic usage of the Microsoft Word, and the second episode, which is about a tutorial on the basic usage of the Microsoft PowerPoint. Today, I will be making a basic tutorial for Microsoft Excel, where you can start creating your very first spreadsheet regarding on the topic you want to do. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. In this tutorial, I will be using this version of Microsoft Excel 2013. There might be a slight difference on the Excel you have. Well, it doesn't matter whatever version of Excel you may have, because this tutorial, most of the things you will see here will be applicable on the version of your Excel. So, once you open up your Excel, like any other Microsoft Office, they will offer you different templates that you can use in creating the spreadsheet you want. But let's say you want more options on the specific type of spreadsheet. To do that, we go up here and search online and type in the kind of spreadsheet you want. Let's say you want more options for the kind of budget. Then we go search up, and in here you will see more example templates that you can use anytime. And in here on the right side, you will see category, where you can explore more type of spreadsheets that you would like to create. If you find the one you're looking for example this one, just click on it and hit create, and you are good to go. This will set you up a ready-hand template where you can just simply adjust the contents of it. So let me close this. While templates are good, but for you to be able to understand and create your own spreadsheet, let's go back. First, we will be using this blank workbook. So, the first thing you need to do is learn about the layout we are going to use in Microsoft Excel 2013. These are some terms that you need to know to better understand what this will offer for you. So, to start up, on top, you will see this home, insert, page layout, and etc. These are what you call tabs. These tabs are important to know when you're looking for something specific. And when you open up a particular tab, it will open up a ribbon. And in each ribbon, it is divided into groups. So as you can see, there is this clipboard group, font group, alignment group, number group, styles group, cells group, and editing group. And these are all in the home ribbon. So those are some of the terms that you need to know. And you'll notice something in the corner of some group. There is what some people would like to call a launch button. So, what are these launch buttons? When you click this, it will show you more options that you can do on that specific group. Since that way, all the other options that did not fit on the space provided by Microsoft will be shown instead in the launch button that you will open up. So, let's close this. So, you need to remember this terminology, for I will be using this throughout the video. So let's start with our spreadsheet. There are more terms that you need to remember. Our spreadsheet consists of columns and rows. So as you can see, we have A column, B column, and etc. And when you browse to the right, let's move this. There's even more to that. And if it's needed, it will just create more and more columns. So, what about rows? We have here row number 1, row number 2, and etc. The spreadsheet is made up of columns and rows. Now, the intersection of the columns and rows produces what you call a cell. And every cell in the spreadsheet has a name. This particular cell is named A1. So, you might wonder how I got that name. It's just the intersection of the column and the row. And this works on every cell that you click into. That specific cell will get highlighted by your Excel to see what are the intersecting columns and rows. So, you might think this is not important, but having known this, there are many things you can do in Excel. So, in addition to the columns, rows, and a cell, another thing you need to know about is the range. So, a range is a group of cells that are together. A range could be this, or this, or even this. It can be any range that consists group of cells that are together. And another thing, ranges can also be named. Let's say for example, this kind of range. So, to name this, you go to the upper left of this range. So this is A1 and you say the word true. So A1 true, and then you say the name in the lower right, which is C6. So A1 through C6. And that's how you name the specific cell you have chosen. So, to write this range, it's going to be A1 through. The symbol for true is a colon. So A1 through C6. So that is how you will write the name of the range that you would see. So let me remove this. There we go. So that was some background information that you are going to need in order to really use Excel properly. Now that we have talked about the layout of this, like the tabs, the groups, ribbons, and the spreadsheet itself, with the columns and rows, the cells, and the ranges. So let me add a couple more here. So everything you see this in the spreadsheet is inside sheet 1, and I can add a sheet 2 and another one, sheet 3. So every sheet created and added up produces what you call a workbook. So sheets or worksheets add up to a workbook. So now let me go back to sheet 1. So now that we have all that learned, let's start creating an Excel spreadsheet. So to make this a little more interesting, I'm going to zoom a little bit down here. I'm going to use this small slider at the bottom right corner. I'm just going to click and drag to zoom in on my spreadsheet. So that will make it a little bit easier for you to see. And now I'm going to click on, let me move this a bit, A1, and enter some data in this cell, A1. So let's say I would like to create a list of people that will buy materials for their project with a given budget at hand. So let me start with a title. Let's say the title is going to be Project List. And you'll notice that the text is bigger than the cell itself, where it goes far to the right. But you know what? You don't have to worry about that. Just hit enter, just like I did, and I've successfully entered a data into my spreadsheet. So, you see that the data in A1 is overlapping in B1. But in actuality, that is not true, where both of these words are stored in A1. If I click on B1 and I type in B1 and hit enter, and you'll notice that the project list is still stored in A1. So they don't really interact or interfere with each other. So no need to worry about that if your text is too far for the cell. So let me remove this. But having said that, making your spreadsheet look nice actually use it better. So let's talk about how we can fix this. It's not really a problem, but how can I fix this if I want to make this a little more nicer? Well, what I can do is that I can stretch out any column or any row if I want to, just by putting my mouse between any two column letters. So this is column A and column B. If I put my cursor in between the two, right on the line or very close to it, and you'll notice that my mouse cursor changed into a double-sided arrow. So now, I can click and drag to stretch that out to make it more wider. Now, you may have noticed when I enter project list in the cell and I hit enter, see what will happen. It automatically moved me down. In Excel, when you tap enter or return, you move down the spreadsheet. If you want to move up in the spreadsheet, you can hold shift and hit enter or return to move up. So hold shift and enter moves up, and hitting enter or return moves down. So what if you want to go to the right and type in something in B1? What I will do is I will tap tab. It will move you to the right, so I can enter more text in there, and tap tab again to enter more text in there. If you want to move to the left, you would have guessed already. You need to hold shift and tap tab. So shift to the opposite of the controls you do in Excel. Another way for you to navigate is through the use of arrows on your keyboard. If you find the up, down, left, right, you can also use that. Another thing is that you can use your mouse to go wherever you want. Now that I got my title in here, let me go to A2 and I'm going to put the word names. That's where I'll put the names of random people and I'll tap tab to move over to the right and I'll put in items. Tap tab again. Let's say amount. Tab again. Price. Hit the tab again. Total. So, that will store quite a bit of information that will inform me about the list of items bought for the project. So, as you notice, when I hit enter, it brought me to the left, expecting me to put more data. So in this case, the name of the person. So let's say, for example, the name is going to be John. Then let me hit tab, and let's say John bought pad papers. And once again, let's hit tab, and let's put the amount like 5. Then hit tab again, and let's say the price was 15. Then lastly, we go to the total. So if we compute this, we will get a total of 75. So that's an example of data entry. How you can enter a data into a spreadsheet by clicking on a cell or somehow getting into a cell, typing and hitting either tab to move to the right or enter to move down. Now, as another example, I'm going to type in another list and I'm going to put in some information here. Let's say for the names going to be May and she bought markers and the amount is 4 and the price is going to be 10 and the total is going to be 40. At this point, you'll notice that I misspelled a word and I would like to fix that. You'll notice that I misspelled the word markers. Watch what will happen when I click that cell in B4. As soon as I type, look, it erases what was there. The reason why is that when I click on that cell, when you click on a cell, anything you type places what is there already. So with that, let me tell you the difference being on the cell and in the cell. To get in the cell, you have to double click on it. So look, notice when I double click on that cell, it actually jumped me in the cell. And you'll see this cursor that is flashing. You can either click or use the arrow keys to move that cursor where I want to be. So, you need to know this difference being on the cell and being in the cell. So, in this case, I don't want to be on the cell and replace what I have inserted there. Rather, I want to be in the cell. Now that I'm in the cell, I can move the cursor towards the place where I want to fix the misspelling that I did. So let's say markers, and then hit enter. And again, remember that it may be an insignificant thing, but Excel is all about details, and all of these details will greatly enhance your use of Excel. Now, give me a few minutes to add more data in my spreadsheet. So now, I have added more data to our project list, and as you can see, each of these rows contains a record, and to help you see more, let me zoom back out. Let's go from this. There we go. And as you can see, I put quite a few lists in here. So what we can do is try to detail more our spreadsheet to make it a little more nicer. So first of all, here on the top is my title basically. Let me click here on A1. It's kinda off to the side and it doesn't have any impact to stand out as a title and look different. So what I'm going to do is click on it and then I'm going to click on the home tab, and in its ribbon I can click on the bold to give it a bold font to make it stand out more. Notice that I can also use the paint bucket tool to paint the background of the cell. So let's remove that for now using no fill. I can also change the color of the text itself, and that is also an option. So let me go back to black. So another thing we can do is italize it or underline the text. Those are all good options to have. That will help the text to stand out a little bit. Another thing I can do on cell A1 by clicking this and drag all the way until I have covered the whole section of my list. So my list ends at column E. Now, what I can do first is go to the Home tab, and under its ribbon, there is a button here in the alignment group, what you call a merge and center. And when I click on that, it merged all those cells together, and it's now one big cell, and it centered it. So basically, this breaks down the walls between the cells and combine them together as one and center it. The other thing is that, like I said before, is that the text doesn't fit in the text, and it kinda bothers me. So I can go up here on top like I showed earlier. I will click and drag to show the words. But let me tell you a shortcut way here. To do that, go up here in the columns and go between the two cells. Let's say for example column A and column B, and double click it. And when you do that, look at what happens. It will automatically size the cells so all the text could fit. So I can do that to the rest, and as you can see, the amount got narrower because it doesn't need to be longer than what it is now. So let me do that to B column as well. There we go. So let me teach you another trick to do this. Rather than by doing one by one in every column, what you can do is this. Click and drag on the columns all the way to the last letter of your list, and then double click in between any of the two columns. It doesn't matter which, because it will work anyway. So let's do this. There we go. And as you can see, everything got resized to fit all the data in the cell, and it looks way more better now. So going back, when every column that was selected, it will be affected by what I did. So when you do this one, when you drag this column all the way to the left, see what will happen. Let's do this on C. Since everything was selected, all of them will get affected on the same changes. So let me return it back to normal. There we go. So hopefully, those little tricks will help you more in resizing your columns. That way, to make it more sense to you. Since the idea here is to make your work look nice and more understandable. So let me change my title by giving it an underline to make it stand out differently. And then let me highlight this and hit bold and also italize it. Now, you may haven't noticed how I did that so fast. I simply click on the row number and it will highlight the entire row all the way to the right. And that selected it, and to affect it, I just chose bold and italize. And it affected everything in this row. So, you may have guessed it, it also works when you click on the column letter. It will highlight everything in the column you have chosen. So, at this point, I hope that you're familiar now with the different names of the layout in Excel. We know what to call them, like the tabs, the ribbons, and the groups. We also know about the columns and rows, cells, and ranges, sheets, and workbook. And we also know how to enter data in our spreadsheet, and how to select it and how to affect it, and change how it looks like in the screen. And we also know how to adjust the size of our column. And I didn't show this, but you can also adjust the size of your rows. You can either make it taller or smaller, and automatically resize as well by double clicking between the numbers. It can also affect more than one at a time by selecting more than one row. So all of these techniques that I showed about columns can also be used in rows. So with all of that said, I hope you guys like this tutorial on how to use the basics in Microsoft Excel. You can leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more tutorials that I will be creating in the future. You can also leave a comment down the comment section for what kind of tutorial that you need help with. Once again, thank you everyone, and keep on staying tuned for the next episodes in my channel. Tune in always.